Hello, five viewers. Thank you for joining us. May you please like and subscribe and say hi. Kali, those are just for the new subscribers. Today I'm doing it alone because Lani fell asleep so early. She was in pain. She had this pain on her neck, and I did some massage, and she fell asleep. I don't appreciate silent moment. It feels like I'm in TikTok. In TikTok, nobody says hi. They're all just coming in, they just watch you and they leave. I don't know what's wrong with TikTok. I like a little bit better this, but not tonight, cause I guess it's quiet night and actually kind of late. I wasn't even planning to doing it, but we need those watch hours. But anyway, man, how's your day today? Are you at work? Yes, I was wondering why you all started late. Yeah, that was the reason, cause it happened earlier. I don't know how she moved her neck, and I even saw it um, when it happened, and she was complaining, uh, but then it just got more. Um, it was hurting more, and I was suggesting to her, but to take medicine. We have medicine here since that time that I got sick. Uh, I went and bought a bunch of different medicines for different things because sometimes it's hard to to find medicine here. So, uh, but she doesn't like taking those painkillers. And actually, it's true that this happened last year. Uh, she took, I don't remember which she was because there's like two or three different painkillers here, and one of them she had a reaction to it, and I remember that time she became allergic to it, and And actually, that's one of the best medicines here because I took it when I was sick, and it was so good. Um, but yeah, she's not uh, good. And I told her the other thing that might help her is drinking beer or alcohol, but she doesn't believe in those medicines. Um, yeah, working, trying to make a few pesos. Oh, God, if they pay you in pesos, you would be sad. Um, Kiana, uh, hello, Kiana. Thank you for joining us. Can you please like and subscribe? I hope you like our little videos. Um, it's about the channel. It's about my wife and I, but sadly, my wife is not here right now. She's sleeping due to she had a little incident earlier. And she's sleeping early. By the way, we are here in the country of the Philippines. I cannot assume where you are, but maybe you're kind of close. So yeah, Kali, that's what happened earlier, and oh yeah, she's sleeping. Apan, man, you barely noticed, Apan. That happened yesterday. Uh, Actually, I didn't even wanted to comment live because I don't like it. It was my wife. She said, "Let's put your hair," and I said, "Sure, color it." And I didn't even notice yesterday until I was just before the live yesterday. I was looking at myself in the mirror and I said, "Oh no, this is not good. This is horrible." And today we were supposed to change it, but it started raining earlier, and then we didn't end up going to the city, um, and that's why I'm stuck with it. Um, so yeah, that's what happened, Apan. That's why you look younger. Oh man, you get used to your look. You know, over time I was, yes, it's because to cover your gray hair, but I'm okay with it. I was fine. Hopefully Lenny will feel better tomorrow. Her audience need her on her live. Yeah, she was. I told her oh you right you were because I sent remember the video that I sent you. I sent it to Tacos too. He was saying well, you were the one who's saying, "Oh, I remember that girl." She's been practicing doing that girl's voice, so maybe tomorrow. um, where's my Papa? Wait until she's here tomorrow. Uh, she's gonna give you Tommy and all other new ones that she's been practicing. Yesterday my neck was hurting, but I took medicine, and in 30 minutes the pain was gone. You see, that's the thing I told her, but she says, no, no, and it is true. I couldn't say take care, because like I told you, she did have that reaction last year, and I was even afraid, because it's not just, let me tell you what happened to her. Part of her face started um, getting swollen, and I saw it. I even was worried about it. I said, "Oh no, this is not good." When she showed me, and yeah, it was that medicine, and uh, the good thing that it passed, and it went the swollenness came down, but yeah, it was scary. So I told her, don't take that medicine ever again, and it was one of the good ones here, because like I said, I took it. Um, I was taking it. Oh, remember I told you that I have very sensitive head. I cannot hit myself on something, and that happened since I was in the U.S. If I was at work and just like small bumps on my head, um, I, I didn't feel it. Like I will get these like shocks, and the next day, and then it will be horrible, and then they will stay for like 4 days, and that happened here. I don't know if it was in a tricycle that I was getting off and the ceiling was too low, or here. I don't remember where, but I did bump my head, and yeah, it was small. Like I said, it's just small bumps that I hit, and then I noticed it didn't. They don't hurt, but the next day they will start causing all these. And the only thing is taking painkillers, and then I did it here, and then they were so good. For It lasted me like 3 4 days, and I was taking those painkillers, and it was really good. They did help a lot. Um, but yeah, for her, she I'm also kind of not wanting her to take it because I saw what happened to her last year. Um, but bro, for neck pain, don't use medicine. Use. But she wasn't even in the mood, man. She was really hurt because uh, she I massaged her neck, and then she just fell asleep. She was uh, she did a few things today, and she got tired, and just before that, that's when it happened, and um, she just fell asleep after. Right now, she's sleeping early, so that's why I'm even a little bit quiet, so because I don't want to wake her up. And, I know she was in pain. Um, but yeah, she'll be back tomorrow, man. And like I said, she's been practicing all those lines. She was a fan of that girl. Um, I remember when she mentioned it to me. I didn't even know her. She was the one who last year was sending me videos of her. I said, "Look at this girl. She's That's how she became popular and viral. Cause man, that girl is something else, and I don't know how much of her do you know, but I only watched the videos that Lanny sent me, but she mentioned all her life, and then the things that she did, like uh, that she broke up, and I was wondering, like, well, they've been together for how long? And then she told me the story because she knew the details of it, and I oh, so that's why. And then I remember uh, I remember seeing this other video that she did with another guy, and I asked her what happened, and she says, oh, she already broke up with Tommy. That's what? There's another guy, yeah. But then she went back to Tommy. But currently, I think she just stopped watching her videos. But I don't know. Maybe you guys know better the story of hers. But that's all I know. And I'm not because she's in TikTok, and back then I didn't have TikTok either. And even right now, I don't check TikTok. Like tacos. He was sending me messages in TikTok, even Manuel, and I wasn't checking my ticket. And Lanis always telling me, "Why are you not checking your TikTok?" I don't. I get notifications, crazy notifications. One time I remember I clicked on one of them. I thought it was a message or something, and it took me to a live, and she's like, "What are you doing?" So I don't know. I just clicked. I thought it was a message or something. So I just stopped clicking on those TikTok messages because they're crazy. Um, Aqua says, which Hollywood movie you last watched? Mm, that happened this morning, man. I watched a movie. Uh, it was actually a good movie. What's the name of it? Melan- Melancholy, something like that. Search, man. It's. I like those sci-fi movies. So it's I'll tell you in a little bit, but let me because sometimes Lani gets upset at me because I keep talking and I don't check messages. Uh, Kau- Kaido, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us, and I think you're saying hello. I hope so. Um, I said to you if you tell me in Roblox, man. Scribbles. Um, I don't have Roblox, man. I used to. I downloaded it in my laptop, but the only one playing on it is my brother-in-law. Look, do this. Go to one of my videos. Put your address, your player number, like that, and I'll give it to my brother-in-law. He plays Roblox, okay? So, but you leave it in one of my messages, and I'll give it to him. And I forgot what his name is, but yeah, he plays a lot of Roblox. Um, Actually, I talk English. Tagalog. Okay, so you're Filipino, right? Thank you, man, for joining us. I thought that was like I don't know what country that was. What so Scribbles? Guess my age. If you're into Roblox, you're probably like between 8 and 12 years old. Um, I saw you. Thank you, Kato, for subscribing. No, man, Kato, I'm here in the Philippines. I've been here 6 months, and I'm here in Cebu. So like, over here they speak Bisaya, and that's the dialect of my wife, and I'm kind of trying hard, but I only learn one word here, another word there. And right now, I'm kind of starting to understand what they're saying, but um, speaking is gonna be my last. That's how even English. That's why I learned it because my first language is Spanish. I'm Mexican and I'm here in the Philippines for, like I said, 6 months ago, and I'm loving it. And but yeah, and I will just give me time. I don't know how long, but it's gonna take me between both. I'm learning both Bisaya and Tagalog, so hopefully someday. um, I thought you're Filipino. No, man, I'm not Filipino. I look Filipino. I'm Mexican, man. Um, Hi, are you in the Philippines? Yeah, man, I'm here in the Philippines. Like I said, subscribers. Yes, you're nice. Yeah, wasn't so too far. Um, it's okay. You have subscribers here, Mr. Lani. Kato, yes, I'm from Mexico. Lani is my wife. And actually, the channel is called Lani. That's my wife, Lani, short for Melanie. And my name is Juan. But this channel we started it. Uh, it's almost a year ago. If you check our videos, it was just about food, and then when I arrived, we changed it to different content. Right now, we're posting like videos of us, and but we have another channel right there. You see in the is pinned to the chat. Juan and Lani in the Philippines. That's our a second channel. That was a little bit smaller than this, but you'll see content of us there too. So you wanna follow us? Because sometimes here YouTube is kind of crazy. Will not send us people to tag to us, so we will go to the other channel and do lives there too. So I hope you like our content. Um, Subscribers, I have football game tomorrow. Subscribers, what kind of football do you play? Is it American football? Football, the one that we know the in the rest of the world soccer. That's how they call it in America. Um, do you talk Indonesian? No, Cairo. It's Spanish. Espanol, and that's why it's easy for me to kind of understand a little bit of Bisaya and Tagalog because a lot of words are from Spanish. I understand like numbers, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, because that's Spanish, and then a few words here and there like cuchara, escuela, estudiante, cuchillo. Um, so there's a bunch of them that are in Spanish. So yeah, man. So it's a little bit of help. um, I'm not boring in the live. Is let me chill. Yeah, man, don't worry. I like talking to people, and there's no boring topic. Soccer. Oh man, soccer's my sport. Like my for many years, I didn't like any other sports than just football. I love it. I played it when I was younger. Since shoot, I was 6 years old when I started playing football, and last time I played it was like 5 years ago, six, somewhere around there. But I played it so much, man. If I can show you my my injuries, I have plenty of injuries from soccer, and I didn't stop because of the injuries, but yeah, the body can, and I was playing it so much all my life, and the body just it's not the same. That's the thing that when you get older and the sport is very demanding on your body. And I was one of those guys that are, uh, you don't see me standing. I like running, and I used to love going for the ball every single time. And so I didn't like, even if my body wasn't just able to run as before, I would rather just not play because I'm a big fan, and even right now when I watch games, that's what I expect to watch. um, in football in the Philippines. Um, well, football here in the Philippines, you guys, I can see that, yeah, some kids and parts here and there play it, but not as big as other parts in the world. Like in Mexico, man, it's soccer, football is the first, um, the national sport, and then after that comes, I'm gonna guess, uh, baseball. Yeah, they like baseball, and then basketball third, and then the fourth will be American football. They're becoming very fanatics of American football, but just certain cities, not like I see it in Mexico City, uh, Monterrey, but not all over the place like the other sports. And actually, baseball is more towards the northern part. Um, but yeah, football is the whole country that loves playing it. Um, how you understand English? How do I understand? Oh, because I was born in Mexico, but I was brought to the U.S. when my parents moved. Uh, we moved as a family complete. We went to the U.S. I was only 15 years old, and I finished my high school there. I went to school there. I went to college, um, and I stayed there until last year. No, I mean this year. When I came here, I've been to Mexico only once, uh, my adult life, and that's all I have from Mexico when I was my childhood, and one trip for vacation, and that's it. Um, it's going to Mexico right now. If I go back to Mexico, it will be so much different than what I remember. Even because the last time I went, it was 20 years ago actually, 20 2005, It's been 20 years, so a lot of things has changed in Mexico. I probably will feel lost. Hola, I know hola. Yeah, man, hola, it's hi in Spanish. Subscribe, so please. Thank you, man. Quiero, call me Godzilla. My profile is Smiling Godzilla. Why, man? Are you into Godzilla movies? Um, Bob, good day, mate. How you doing today, Bob? Sorry, we started the live a little bit late because Lani was feeling. Oh yeah, she was in pain for a little because uh, she hurt her neck and she's sleeping right now. But yeah, she'll be here tomorrow. Cairo, New Mexico, but you're understanding English. Yeah, Cairo, like I said, I was living in the US. That's how I learned English. And it was a hard, long way for me to speak because, oh man, I don't know if I was just hard headed or what, but I remember I did learn to understand it within 6 months. I because I actually started really hard when I was um, younger. But the hardest part for me was speaking it and then communicating with people. I was so shy. I was, and see, this is the thing that I don't understand Filipinos because if you guys went to the U.S., let me tell you how Mexicans, and not just Mexicans, any South American, because people from South America and even Central America, when they go to the U.S. and they speak Spanish too, oh man, some try to learn English right away. Some of them don't, and well, it's all over the place. But their English is very broken, very broken. And you guys here in the Philippines, you guys are far apart from any other Spanish, I mean English speaking country. And you guys have it in your schools, and you guys learn it, and you guys know it. But you are also shy to. I can see it everywhere. Like Filipinos are so shy to use it because they're so afraid of saying the wrong sentence, mispronouncing words. Guys, I wish you'd seen the people in the U.S. Like they still try. I know you guys make fun of each other when you say something funny, but and that's the thing that you guys have that the you're afraid of. And it's not bullying; it's just people making fun. But and that happened to me too when I was younger. That I was afraid of saying the wrong thing, or not saying it correctly, and but in the U.S., a lot of Americans they're happy to be able to communicate with you, even if it's like broken. That they will not criticize you. And the same thing like me when I'm here. I'm happy that people are because me I'm still like I said I don't know a lot of the Filipino or Bisaya here, and when I go out and I meet people or talk or deal with people, and some of them do get shy, and I don't laugh. I said, no, no, it's okay. I understand you. Don't say like that. But it's something like I noticed that Filipinos get shy to use it because of that reason. Um, but yeah, man, it's not a big deal, and I know that like here my wife's family they laugh when I use Bisaya because they don't expect and that's sometimes I will say a word here and there and that's kind of uh, amazing word that I'm trying but it's very little words but I like your videos. Thank you, man. Thank you. I hope you like all the videos that we post every day. Bob, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with what, Bob? Cairo Arrezo. Thank you, man. Thank you for the subscription. Open says, Cairo, you think Mexicans don't know English? Actually, upon it's true, Mexicans don't know a lot of English. So, yeah, in Mexico, I remember when I was, because I was um, 1 year advanced for the year that I was supposed to go. For example, I was uh, grade 7, which is I was supposed to. I left. I turned 15 in the U.S. I think I don't remember so clearly, but I was I went to high school. I started high school in Mexico, but I was ahead for 1 year. And then in the US, they wanted me to actually start because of my age. They wanted me to start in ninth grade. But I said, no, no. And it was because of my brother, because my brother was ninth grade. And I said, no, I don't want to be close to my brother. He's 1 year younger. He should be, I want to be 10th, and uh, I want to be a sophomore. And I says, okay, if you're ready for it, but if you're not, we can pull you back. And says, nah, we'll deal with it. And that's how I did. But I remember back in Mexico, they did have English classes, but to be honest with you, they were a joke. I remember the last test in the year. If you knew 5 words in English, you will pass. So, what kind of challenge is that? Um, I forgot the Mexicans is no. I think we don't. Mexico's don't. And they're very. Let me tell you how it is. Because it was like that back then, and it's still a little bit like that, but not all of it. Because if you travel to the border between uh, the U.S. and Mexico, the northern states, they do. You will find a lot of Mexicans speaking English because of um, living near the U.S. That's a given. That there you'll find a lot of people speaking English and Spanish. But if you move towards the south, more towards the end of Mexico on the south, yeah, you're not gonna find English speakers or bilinguals so much over there. Maybe in cities or locations where tourists arrive, but uh, not all those small towns, or they all speak Spanish. And even they're harsh on you. If, like, for me, I remember that my Spanish, um, I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but at least I don't have like an accent or anything like that. But they still notice it. In Mexico, notice it that when I like I said, I went there 20 years ago, and they notice it that I said, so you're not from here, you come from the United States, and just because of my accent, that but it is not so noticeable, but they still notice it. And then they're harsh when they communicate with them. If you use one word in English that says, "Oh, the gringo," they call you American right away. And it's, no, I'm Mexican. No, they like, they crucify you for not using all Spanish. Um, and it's like that, yeah, because I had some nephews that were actually living in Canada, and they went back to Mexico, and they were suffering because they said, "Oh, the kids are mean to us, and even the teachers don't want to use in English." And they spent 5 years in Canada, and they went back, and well, that was almost half of their lives, because they were like 10 or 11, somewhere like that. And so they had Spanish, but that was mostly the last thing they remember was English in Canada. And they were getting bullied, and there was a Tio. They're kind of telling us not to speak English. And I said, no, guys, don't forget English, because it's gonna be very helpful. I know sometimes they don't see the benefit back then of speaking more than one language, But nowadays, especially with the internet, it is necessary that you know at least two languages, and maybe it's changing because I got a surprise lately that I have a friend that is from Mexico. He never left Mexico, and he's from there, and like he came here to the Philippines. And I was surprised that what he said, by reading here, watching movies, he learned the language, and he's good. Well, he says he's not, but he, his English is kind of good. And he was living in Mexico, and I'm surprised. And not by the border, he was like really south, and so maybe things are changing. Maybe Mexicans are gonna be another language, but that thing of is, I call it nationalism, because and this is the funny part. This like here in the Philippines, Filipinos, they have the language and English, and they still are open-minded to learn other languages. In Mexico, they take it so uh, like a big pride that Spanish is the language of Mexico, which is not. The Spanish gave it to us when they were in our dialects. They got lost. There's only a few tribes that they speak, but they're counted. Like there are very few people who speak our native languages in Mexico, and that's the sad part. That's the sad part because we don't. They're not taught in school. It shouldn't be forgotten that that's our heritage, and we treat Spanish like it was our language, which it wasn't. Um, and that's the funny part that I see. Um, can you say "Cómo está acá"? Yeah, I know how to say that. I know. Well, Spanish and English are very similar. Mm, I think Spanish shares more words with. Well, Latin is the main uh, component of a lot of languages, from Italian, English, French, Portuguese, and sometimes there's some words and some phrases that you can understand because, for example, me, I never study Portuguese, but I can understand a little bit when somebody speaks it or writes it. Um, Same with French, but I think it's got uh, more words in common with Portuguese and Italian than French. But still, like, yeah, I can we can understand a little bit, and maybe they can understand us better because right there in Europe, oh man, those people over there, they can master not just one or two. Some people know three, four languages, and that's because the proximity of every country. And right now, that Europe is just one big block. Um, they move, they travel, they trade with each other. So it's kind of like a must that they manage to handle more than two or three languages, and those guys are something else. um, what is this? I wish you had uh, a nice night. Thank you, Kairo. I like Godzilla. Have you watched the last movies of Godzilla, man? I watched the last one that they made, and oh man, I didn't like it so much because it, yeah, the special effects are good, but the storyline, it wasn't there for me. It just, Bob says, "I'm good, man." Okay. Uh, Eso es bueno si sabes inglés, entonces habla español. uh, yeah, Cairo, but here in the Philippines, not a lot of people speak Spanish, and even online. A lot of people, yeah, some of them understand me, but like only when I see somebody who speaks Spanish, I will speak Spanish to them, and try to communicate. And then when I see that somebody from, like I said, Mexico, or I had some people from South America, Argentina, Chile, um, somebody from I think it was El Salvador, and yeah, they the same thing. They only speak Spanish, and especially over there, because all South America, it's only Spanish except for Brazil and other little countries that have French and uh, what is the other one? I forgot the other ones, but yeah, most of the other countries are Spanish speakers, and you kind of don't need any other language. And then from south, I mean, from Mexico to all the way south of America, it's only Spanish. And but like I said, nowadays with the internet, and if you wanna talk to people, learn about people, you need to learn more than one language. Um, yeah, I like Spanish too. Yeah, man. And if it's easy for you to learn it and practice it, try it, man. It's you never know, because one of those nephews that I was telling you about right now, he is working as a translator for a company in Mexico, because um, they deal with a lot of trade internationally, and see, that's an easy job, just translating, and you don't have to do hard work. And I don't know if my nephew ever finished any other career or something, but that's what he's doing, and he says he's getting paid very well. Um, so you see, that's the plus of learning more than one language. Apan says, "Do you like the Godzilla, bro? Yesterday, the Godzilla. Are you talking about Godzilla or a quesadilla, fan? I don't understand what you wrote there. Um, Yesterday, I ate some vegetables because I am with honor. Oh, so that was your your uh, your surprise, man, for being an honor student. Vegetables. Bob says they speak English. Gringo home. um, I don't know about you, Bob, what you guys, but in the U.S., gringos, it's usually the Americans that is the kind of nickname that they give to all the Americans, and usually just the white people. Um, I saw today's Carol, I like watching this. But you need to listen to more of their words. Uh, it's full of Spanish. Um, uh, yeah, but like I already know some of those words, and I hear them all the time, but the ones that from their dialect, those are the ones that and I'm still struggling, and the pronunciation is the one that I cannot get down with it, because sometimes I hear it and then I will ask Lani, how do you say this word? How do you say that? And I keep repeating it. Yeah, and actually she gets kind of frustrated with me, because sometimes I will ask her again, Love, what is this word? Say it again because I forgot. But this is the thing about me, that once I get a word, is it's harder for me to forget it. So, and mostly because I keep hearing it, and once it's in my brain, like I hear it and then it's there, and now you know the meaning, And once I know to understand all the things that people are saying, that's when it's gonna be for me easier to, because that's how I did it with English. First, it was understanding and knowing the meaning of the words, and then after that was just listening and um, one thing that made that was easy for me is learning sentences, for conversation. But it was just basic stuff. It wasn't long sentences or like right now free talk. Like it's more difficult to do that. Um, I'm a student, or you say good night now. Kaido, I thought you were saying because you needed to go that you were telling me good night. Um, Tagalog, yes, minor differences. Um, yeah, man, the Tagalog, the good thing about the words that are in Spanish, it, I joke my wife when I say, "Oh, this word's in Spanish," but you guys, because I've seen the how they write it, and I make a joke like, "You guys, you guys knew how to say it, but you guys didn't know how to write it because you misspelled it." Like escuela, all those things. They write it totally different, and it's like, that's not the Spanish. How do you say it correctly, but you don't spell it like it should be. Well, yeah, it's just a joke, and yeah, I know that it's it, it's the same thing with English and Spanish. There's some words that sound the same, but you write them differently. Even the pronunciation is a little bit different. Right now I don't have one, but yeah, there's some words like that. Um, Robert says, "What about Tagliengish?" Um, that is kind of like in the U.S. we have what they call Spanglish. Um, I some people use it, and but it's just like a slang. It's not. I cannot call it a language because it's just um, it's a mixture of. And you don't have rules for it. That's the worst thing. That you need to know English and Spanish to understand Spanglish, and 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 I really, even if I deal with people who they're right there in especially in the southwest of the U.S. where there's, and it's only um, like Mexican Americans and Mexicans that move to the U.S. that they use those terms and but it's not a real language, man. It's a like it is just a slang, and it's not a good form of communication. It's just like making fun of both languages. But yeah, I've seen some people totally like Mexican Americans. They use a lot of words here and there, and especially because they don't. Some of them do know the Spanish correctly, but some of them a lot of them don't, and what they do is they just mix what they know of Spanish with English to describe something, and and it's like it's more like a slang, like it's not a real language. Kara says, "Is it okay? Good night, Mr. Lani. You know I can watch tomorrow. I never forget this video." All right, Kat. If you need to go, man, it's okay. Go to sleep because I know you say you're a student and you got school tomorrow. And actually, it's almost 10 o'clock. So yeah, man, get a good night and thank you for joining us. And hope you come back or just to say hi. It's fine. But yeah, we try to do lives here and there every day at 8. Sometimes we do miss it for different reasons, but if not, we'll be here at 8, around 8, because even today we started kind of late. Bob says Zimbabwe is Simblish. I thought Zimbabwe, isn't it? Their main language is English, right? Because I think I was watching a video the other day about Zimbabwe, and then they have English as their main language. Cairo, I'm saying good night, goodbye, Mr. Kaz, because I'm sleeping because I have school tomorrow. Oh yeah, man, it's a good thing that tomorrow's the last day of the week. I mean, your school week. Um, but yeah, go ahead and go to sleep, man. Thank you for being here, and hopefully you come back tomorrow or whenever you got time. It's okay. Uh, get a good night, man, and I'll see you whenever you get a chance. All right, good night, man, and we'll see who's still here. Um, but yeah, Bob, like English, it's see that's the thing. I was watching. I don't remember this. It was a video of statistics about how many people in the world each language is spoken, and I think Spanish. That you see, that's the, the advantage. Well, of people like myself, that Spanish and English are the two main languages around the world. And when you know those two, you already can communicate with more than half of the people on the planet. Um, but you cannot compare it to people who know like three, four languages, because then you have French, you have Italian, Portuguese that are spoken in a lot of countries. And so that gives you another advantage to communicate with a lot of more people. And but I guess it's true. What the more you know, the better you are. Uh, Tacos, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? Thank you for joining us. How's your wife, man? Is she feeling better? I know you said you guys were gonna go to the doctor today, right? Uh, I hope everything's okay. Apan says English and Chinese. Oh yeah, Chinese. It's well, just because of China, the size of China. There's a lot of people who there that speak it. But other than that, who else? Uh, Taiwan. Um, who else speaks Chinese? I think that's just that, right? Some parts of Nepal. Uh, yeah, man, those are it. So yeah, I think Chinese like probably the third, fourth place somewhere around there. I don't remember. I only know that. Like I said, I only focus on the first two. um, Bob says when you go to an ATM, you can choose Tanglish. Yes, Zimbabwe's English. They have their own language also. Um, Yeah, and that's the thing about a lot of countries. They're starting to use English as their second language because of just trading, and English is becoming the main language of the world because everything that when you trade, when you do business, and like when you communicate with other people, is like look at me. My wife, she um, she knows English, and me too, and that's how we were able to communicate and get together. Uh, if it had been me just Spanish and her language, we would be so lost, probably not even together. Um, so the thing is that uh, you need to really, if you don't know it, but like guys, you right now I'm speaking to you guys in English, so I'm glad you guys know it, and that's the thing that's important. And for those little kids, like the ones that just went to sleep, uh, that's what I tell them. Even my Lani siblings, because they're right now they're starting to communicate with me, but they were very shy at first to say in English because they were not so sure that we're gonna say the correct thing, and you know how siblings are; they will make fun of each other. And I keep telling them, don't be shy, man. But it's only uh, Lanny's brother uh, and yeah, that's only him. The other ones, yeah, they will say whenever Lanny's not here, they will talk to me in English, but yeah, they still shy to use it, and I tell them you guys need to use it, practice it. And right now is a great opportunity that I'm here to keep using it, so you can be prepared. Because that's how I did it, and it took me a long time to do it. Back then, I was just yeah, I could understand it, I could write it, but I had such a big difficulty practicing it, and um, it took me years, man. It took me years to get it to feel confident, um, and still, if you guys, well, you guys already noticed it. I struggle with some words still, uh, even after so many years, and because of that, because I didn't practice it enough, and but now, it's things that. Uh, I don't pay too much attention anymore if I say it correctly or not. I'm just happy to be communicating in English. Um, Japan says, "What happened to Taco? Uh, she's doing better. She has doctor appointments. We shall see." All right, Taco. I hope everything's okay, man, and uh, we'll be praying for you guys. Trin, hey, Trin, thank you for joining us. Uh, the Chinglish. Or Chinglish is it Chinese in English or what is that about? I'm from Ar- Arabic. Trim, where is that, man? You do you understand English? Tacos, upon my pregnant wife is having some health issues. Trim, I'm Kinam's sister. Um, who's that, Trim? Who's your sister? I don't understand. I don't remember. Uh, Tacos. Okay, when you have a child, what language will you prefer? Tacos. Remember I told you what happened to me here? That I'm gonna explain to you guys what happened. I was calling my embassy here in the Philippines, the Mexican embassy, and uh, it was it, you know. Remember I told you that there's a guy, a Mexican guy here in the Philippines, not too far from me. He came over here and then he found me online and they were talking and he says, "Oh, Juan, I'm happy to be speaking to you in Spanish because English is hard for me." And it happens that you want to communicate in your language because you. It even happened to me too. Like when I was in the U.S., I would be much happier to communicate with people in Spanish. Uh, you get that attachment to your language, and you don't feel so comfortable. But over time, like I adopted English as my first language too, so I managed both of them at the same thing at the same time. And but he was missing that part. He was missing communicating with someone in Spanish. So he was happy to be talking to me in Spanish, and then when I called my embassy, I said, "Oh, because I experienced the same thing. I came here. I didn't miss it so much, but I said I have not spoken anybody in Spanish here." And then when I called my embassy, "Oh, come on, you're calling your embassy. You're supposed to communicate in your native. And I know Mexico Spanish. It's our main language. So I called the embassy, and I was burning my Spanish because he said, "Well, it's my embassy." Oh man, do you know what they told me? He says, "Sir, can you speak English? Because I don't understand much Spanish." So sure. And then right away I noticed that the guy on the other line, on the line was a Filipino, and I said maybe just random that probably would, but why would they have a Filipino and not a Mexican? Um, because in the U.S. that's what happened. You have your embassy, and in the U.S. they bring personnel from Mexico, and but they speak English, but their main language is Spanish, and you go there to the embassy, and they will speak to you in Spanish. But here, because the embassy is representing Mexico for Filipinos, so they focus on um, the person must speak Filipino, which is, if, like I said, in Mexico, it's hard to find people speaking English. Can you guys imagine finding somebody who speaks Tagalog uh, and he speaks Spanish at the same time? Only Filipinos, not Mexicans, are gonna do that. So that guy who was on the other line, he was a Filipino. He knew English, and because Mexico also has a lot of representatives here for different countries, so the guy was forced to speak English and Tagalog, but Spanish wasn't so important. He understood it, but he didn't speak it so well, and that's why he asked me, "Can you speak English?" Then I was like, okay, you're lucky I speak English because what if it's another Mexican that is over here and needs to communicate with his embassy? Who's gonna answer the phone? You need to speak Spanish, but that's the sad part. And now that, for example, I was telling Manuel in Utah, because if I do have a kid that is half Filipino, half Mexican, of course I'm gonna want to for him to learn as many languages as he can: Spanish, English, Tagalog, Bisaya, and whatever other language he might encounter, because I can see it. And I mean, look at this, the embassy here is needing representatives that speak at least Spanish and Tagalog, so imagine that. And it is sad that our embassy here, our Mexican embassy, doesn't have um, somebody in the line for answering the phone that speaks Spanish. They had to use Filipinos, which is, I don't want to be mean, but I mean, what if it's another Mexican? Which they should be helpful to Mexicans over here. But yeah, if like your question is that, I will say, yeah, I need to encourage my, if I have a son or daughter, or, to speak more than just one or two languages. And who knows, maybe he'll be working for the embassy. um, Mr. Should I can I read uh, full team fan? Hello, full team fan. Thank you for saying hi. We have a fan. Oh, Taco, she'll be alright soon. Yeah, man, we're praying that she gets better and the baby comes out good, and we'll have a little chicharrón soon. The embassy have the primarily speak Spanish too. Yeah, Taco, and like I told you, that was kind of sad for me to understand that that time. And another issue is they only answered me to me that time, and I kept calling because I had some when I was getting married to Lani. I needed some help, and I was trying to see if they could help me with this and that. But that was the only time. That's not the issue that I had with them. That was the only time I was able to to contact them. After that, they didn't answer. The phone would ring, and Emmanuel was asking me how long do you try? Well, I tried for a week. He said, how many weeks? I stayed on the line for like 2 hours because I was desperate. I didn't know how to, because I was needing some documents, and and after a week, I gave up. I said, I tried it every day for 2, 3 hours. They didn't answer again, just one time. And that's another issue with the embassy here. If they ever watch my video, but well, uh, I was glad that I figured out how to do it, and thanks to my family in the Mexico that they sent me my documents that I needed. But the embassy, yeah, they were not much help. Um, so the embassy here, the program speak Spanish too. Tacos, we should create the equivalent of LLC and do a call center exclusive for the Mexican embassy in the PH. Well, Tacos, this is what I think. Maybe they don't have a lot of personnel, or because in the U.S. they have the embassy, the consulates all over the states, and primarily because there's so many Mexicans in the U.S. But on this side of the world, even one of the tips that Manuel told me is this, and even my mom, my mom also, she went to the embassy in the U.S. and asked them, and she says, "Yep, it's not the first time that they hear bad things about this embassy here in the Philippines. That I don't know what's wrong with them. That the one there's another one in Thailand, and that one gives better service. They're more uh, that I should contact them so they can help me then instead of the one here. It's kind of sad, but I remember a few years ago the ones in the U.S. were the same. Like they had such a crappy service. Um, Bob says you open their prospects. Uh, yeah, but I wish they will listen to people. But if you check online, because I checked, and some of the reviews are the same as, in my opinion, they're terrible. They do, and this is what I'm gonna have to do right now. If anything I need from the embassy, I'm gonna have to go in person because they say that's how it works. They will not help you online. Emails, that will go unanswered, and the only way is to be in person there, to go to the embassy, and they will help you there because I don't know, it's like a store or something, but they don't know how to work the phones, or I don't know. That's again the this the bad part about all of these, that I'm not so close to Manila. I'm very far, and if anything I ever need from them, I'm gonna have to travel over there. And well, I'm also, uh, I need to go prepare for whatever I need from them. Um, that goes. We hire all the Mexican nationals in the PH. Yeah, probably if you, because maybe the Robert was looking for a job. I forgot to tell him go to the embassy. They need help. But who knows? Like you said, probably. I don't even know how many people they got there. Well, yeah, it's obvious that they're low on staff. Um, I think we will have to get 38 visa to work in the PH. Uh, well, those employees for the embassies and the consulates, they come from Mexico, so if anything, I think that I don't know how they hire Filipinos here, and maybe also because of the wages. Probably it was cheaper for them to hire a Filipino than a Mexican. That's what I think. That instead of bringing a Mexican from and then train him or something from Mexico, because they will have to pay him and move the family or something, um, like a diplomat. They said, no, let's go easy. Let's hire a Filipino. Let's hire a Filipino that knows a little bit Spanish. We don't have a lot of Mexicans here in the Philippines. Why would they need to speak Spanish? Only English and Filipino, because we get Filipinos, and that's all we need. We don't need them to speak Spanish. Uh, yes, Filipinos are contracted by the embassy. It's cheaper to hire locals. Yeah, that I think that will happen, and it was obvious, and it is kind of sad because you know they don't they they don't expect Mexicans come over here or what. Uh, I was telling Manuel I did a Google search the other day, but Google gave me two different answers. I asked, like, how many Mexicans live in the Philippines? And I guess these are the number that are registered. I'm not registered because, shoot, why would I want to go tell my embassy I'm here when they don't even attend my call? Um, but Google said that it's about, first time told me like 200. I went, what? There's only 200 Mexicans here in the Philippines? Uh, and I already know four of them. uh, but then the second time it said like 400. I don't know if Google was playing with me or what. And imagine that, so such a little number of Mexicans here. Um, this is yes, it was like it's a U.S. embassy. That's the same in Mexico. Well, but at least they probably hire Mexicans that speak good English. Um, and I think every embassy does the same. But the difference is, Mexicans, like I said, they speak Spanish. Aren't they supposed to speak Spanish? I felt bad that that guy said, "Oh, sir, can you please speak to me in English?" Why? Am I not calling to the Mexican embassy? Since when they speak English in Mexico? um, but do you know that I was the Mexicans who settled on the PH? Um, Bob, it wasn't Mexico. It was the Spanish. The Spanish was from Spain that came here, and the Spanish did to the Philippines the same thing that they did to Mexico. They brought the language, but sadly for the Filipino, I don't know if it's sadly or a plus that uh, they didn't they were not forced uh, to speak Spanish. I read that the most of the um, uh, government was there were all the documents everywhere you went. It was Spanish, but it was seen like Spanish as like for the government for the so Filipinos were never forced to speak Spanish. But yeah, they still cut some words in Spanish for things that were not some of the things that the Spanish brought from. That's another word that I make fun of Lani, that caballo is a caballo that were not they didn't exist here. It was the Spanish who brought caballos, the horses, and that's another Spanish word. So all those things that are in Spanish is because they were brought by the Spanish. And in Mexico, in Mexico, the story is a little bit different, but the same. At the end, it was the same. They brought the language, they brought the religion, because that's another thing that Mexico and Philippines share. It's the religion. We both of us are Catholic, and mostly, um, and and that's how we ended up with that. But the trading, after both were on the Spanish rule, the trading was big between Spain and, I mean, between Philippines and Mexico. And yeah, I read that some settlers were they stay here. Oh shit! I think there's gonna be rain. I hope I don't lose the connection, guys. If I lose the connection because the internet just went off, usually happens when the storm comes. Um, uh, Robert, there were some Mexicans that stayed during the Ghanaian trades. Also, Filipinos stayed in Mexico. Yeah, that's. But it was Mexico wasn't settled here. I mean, like, um, the first Filipinos were actually coming from what I read, or from what I remember. They were from Indonesia and other parts, and those were the first Filipinos. And Filipinos, they don't got what we had, because in Mexico, uh, you know, uh, it was a mixture of the of Spaniards with the natives, that that's how a lot of Mexicans, most of us, uh, we back then we were called mestizos, which was a mixture of native with Spanish, and, and that's why it's a lot of last names are in come from Spain, in Mexico, and over here too. Like you can find a lot of last names, but I guess no more than in Mexico, which has so many last names from Spain. Um, and like I said, the language was different, the adaptation of the language, because if you read history too, that after the Spanish left, and it wasn't that they left, it was that they got kicked out by the Filipinos and then the Americans. Uh, and that's how Philippines also, they were under the rule of the United States, and and that's how English became another other adoptive languages, um, and and also became part of their language, some of those words. So Filipino is a big mix of Spanish, English, and their dialects. Um, and it's interesting that Filipinos, I don't think they lost a lot of their culture. And if you go to Mexico, you will see the difference that we, yeah, we are, we became a race, but uh, the original Mexicans, man, they're once you go to those, I have been, and like I told you, that trip that I took to Mexico, I saw those. I went through those areas, and I saw how Mexicans we treat those indigenous people. Some people say that the best thing is to leave them alone, because that's their tradition, that's the way they live. But sometimes they still struggle so much. They struggle even to the basic of needs like water, roads, electricity, and that's why of the movement that happened since the 90s with the Zapatistas. If you read history, same thing. Um, But I cannot claim I know everything about Malaysia. I just read it from what I read, and I have not been there for 20 years. But that's that's what I know. Um, this is Taco. Oh shit! I missed a lot of message. There were some Mexicans stay there in the bilateral trading. Yeah, but that was the trading that happened during the Spanish undertaking of both countries. The capital of the Philippines used to be Guadalajara, Mexico. Yeah, because it was what do you call it? Like uh, I forgot the new. Like it was just they took Mexico and Philippines to like basically one area or something like that. The Spanish were crazy. Tacos Mexico, I think. So it's because that's the time that Mexico and Philippines they were under the Spanish rule and they were not Mexico yet. All native Filipinos were first told to drop their native names and adopt Spanish names. Uh, well, see, that's the funny part about it. That nowadays you find a lot of Filipinos with American names. Uh, they they kind of like it, and even Mexico, they're doing it now as a joke. You can find Bryans. um, uh, what's the other one that make fun of online? Yeah, they had Spanish. Uh, versus American War. That was the what was it called? The Spanish American War. That happened in what is it? 1901. So somewhere, yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, it was 1901, 1902, somewhere around there, and it was fast. American won it really fast. Um, don't talk about North Korea. Kim Jong Un is my friend. But uh, everybody makes fun of North Korea, but at the same time, they're scared of it because if the regime takes aim at you, they can get to you. I mentioned the other day what happened to Sony with that movie that they tried to pull a few years when they were trying. I forget. I need to look it up. The name of that movie, and even before it came out, uh, North Korea stole it and put it online for free. Um, the Spanish no longer wanted PH, so they made an agreement to the Philippine Spanish to sell out um, the civic. What was happening, Bob, is that Filipinos were revolting. That's why and they had what they call nowadays it was like a guerrilla war. They will hide and in the mountains and they'll attack cities and it was they say that the Spanish truly never was all over the Philippines because there were areas were not easy to to reach, and and that's how Filipinos were far from being conquered, and they left, and then here comes the English, I mean the Americans right away. Um, and they kind of did the same thing, but um, it it wasn't such a same thing. Poor Filipinos, they were done with the Spanish. Then here comes the Americans, and the only reason why Filipinos changed their mind about America is because of the Second World War. Because I mean, here were the Americans, and they were just treating the Philippines as a colony, and but then when Japanese came, Oh man, the Japanese were brutal on the Filipinos, and you know the Americans came and they retook the Philippines, and you know I'm glad that the Americans, but I think they left the American they left the Filipinos because they couldn't find anything good worth like probably oil or something. Because you know that's a uh, I remember this meme back uh, it was like 10, 20 years ago. There was this eagle uh, on the meme. It says, "Do you say Titan has a lot of oil? Oh, let's prepare to liberate Titan, the, the moon from I don't know which planet." That's the only reason why America goes to war, man. You know, like right now here, uh, do you think they care about democracy in Taiwan? No, if they really care about China taking over Taiwan, why they never move a finger for Nepal? Man, you're making me talk about politics, which I never liked doing. Um, this is Tacos Brian, William, Edward. Uh, yeah, they all have now in Mexico. They're called, you know, John. What's the other name that they're taking? Uh, Brian. Uh, and oh, especially girls. Uh, the American girls they're also being taken into Mexico now. It was just bombs, no one was hurt, and that's how the takeover. Yeah, man. Sometimes it, you don't even need to use bombs uh, for it anymore. Do you know? Yesterday I dreamed about him. He come to my home with a remote and he press it. Upon you know in the U.S. they have this joke about, and I think it's true that Trump, President Trump, in his desk, because he has this button. I don't know if it's true or not, but they make the joke that they have this button supposedly because everybody thinks that the president of the United States has a button to press the nuclear bombs and just bomb any country he wants. But I don't know, he made it like a joke or if it's true or not. But when you press the button, he calls for. It's just to call for Diet Coke because he's into Diet Cokes. Um, and I think a few shows already makes fun of him like that. He press. I remember the Family Guy. He's fighting Griffin and then he's hitting the button. There's a lot of servants bringing him cokes. What if um, Kun Jung will just press the button and it's for something else, man? What if it's not for what you're thinking? Um, yeah, that's why they won it. Yeah, correct. Tacos used to the goal left by the Japanese. Yeah, and they remember uh, the war against Iraq. Americans were so naive to believe that it was just the Americans don't learn, and the American people lately they have such a small, short memory. They forget things. I don't know what's going on over there. No politics. Let's pray about it. Yeah, okay, let's change the topic, man. And Apan, we were talking about the movie that I watched earlier. It was called, shoot, and it was a good movie. Let me tell you why. Because um, if you search it, it's about uh, the story of it is that there's this. They don't explain very well the 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 background of it. On the movie, the thing is that there's this planet that is coming towards Earth. They don't know. They don't explain how. They don't explain why or anything. They just say that it was hiding behind the sun, and all of a sudden it just appeared. It went past Mercury, Venus, and supposedly the movie takes aim at these sisters and then the story of them, and one of them is kind of crazy, uh, and the other one is trying to help the crazy sister, um, and it's got this crazy story. But the thing about it that I liked is, the drama is mostly drama, a little bit of sci-fi, because at the end, when the normal sister, she thinks that um, the husband is it's somebody who knows a lot, because he kept saying, no, the plan is just gonna it's gonna be a nice show because it's gonna pass by Earth, and then everybody's just looking at it, and yeah, those images are kind of cool. And then at one point, and that thing is not explained either, because supposedly the planet just passes by Earth and he misses it. But then I don't know, because of the trajectory or something, that it pulls Earth towards it, and they end up, uh, um, you know, against each other, and then that's the end of the Earth. Um, but the drama is the one that it is kind of crazy, kind of wild, and but yeah, that was the last American movie that I watched, man. I am a little bit into sci-fi, and lately even horror. Uh, uh, and that's the one that I watched today, yesterday, or 2 days ago. I think I was watching another one. Oh man, I have such a bad memory. I forgot what movie was that too. My battery is flat, man. Good night. All right, Bob. I know it's late for you. Have a good night, man. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you again. Um, why, Apan? Why? What movie have you watched from Hollywood lately? And tell me why, and if you recommend it. Let's talk movie, because politics. I don't want North Korea to hack my channel, and instead of me tomorrow, you're gonna might see, um, you know who, with a button. Oh yeah, no, I remember. There's there's this, because of my wife, she likes um, horror movies, and not just any horror movies. She's into zombie movies. She loves those, and I already she has watched a lot of those, and then I pull out a long list of zombie movies. The one, and then I ask her, "Have you watched this one?" Yes, no, yes, no, and some of them I did watch before, some of them I didn't. Um, so there was this one that I only remember watching a little bit, and it was called, and it was famous back then, 28 Days. Um, and then the one that I wanted to watch, it was 28 Weeks. but the only one that I could find is 28 years later, and that's the one that I watched recently too. Um, and this one is in the UK, um, from the UK, and um, it I liked it at the beginning, the drama. I mean, not the drama, the suspense of it. It was good. The beginning of it. Uh, the story of it, it kind of leaves you with, it's just pointless what happened. But I'm not gonna let you uh, listen to me, because I, if you had not watched, I do recommend that one too. It was good. Uh, if you're into horror or zombie movies like my wife, and uh, that day she was watching something else, and I said, okay, I'm gonna watch it, and I'll see if it's good or not. And then I was recommending it to her, and then she watched it later. But um, yeah, it was a good movie, and kind of the suspense of it, and yeah, there's some good parts, uh, but for me, like I said, my favorites are sci-fi, the, the action movies, some of the horror, but they need to be especially with a good topic or something, because I don't buy into horror so much. Um, gonna run, time to go to the R. Have a wonderful time. All right, thank you, Tacos. We'll be praying for you, man, and a double. Hope everything's okay. And I'll see you later, or I'll text you later, man. Uh, we have 3 people. Oh man, we almost hit 2 hours. Um, Apana, are you still there, man, or you already went to sleep early? Um, man, this one is all over the place. Alright, guys, I don't know who's there, but we're gonna have to end the live here. It's kind of late. I need to get some rest, and we'll see you back again tomorrow. Hopefully, my wife can join us. Uh, Thank you for being here. We'll be back tomorrow around the same time. And have a good night, good day, and we'll see you. Bye.